Everyone could be a tzaddik Moshe Rabbeinu, or Rosh Hashanah, Rav Ben Avad. And the Rambam says that this applies to absolutely everything. There is no situation in life that we are forced into. We can always choose. And Be'etzem, Mesilas Yesharim tells us that every matziv in Olam Hazeh is created for one reason: to give us the ability to choose between the derech that brings us closer to the Rabbeinu Shalom, or Chalila, the opposite. All the circumstances the Rabbeinu Shalom created in this world, every single situation was created with one purpose: to give us the ability to choose. And in every situation we're choosing Kirvas Elokim or not. We have to appreciate that this means everything, absolutely everything. I want to talk about something that's most sought after. And people don't recognize that this is mamish what the Rambam's talking about. Everyone wants happiness. Everyone looks for simcha. So why aren't people happy? Why are people not happy? They'll give you reasons. There are so many reasons not to be happy. I just can't be happy. This isn't working, that isn't working, this isn't well, this one's not well, this one, then. It is a toz gomer. You know something? It borders on apicorsis. It borders on apicorsis. Because what you're saying is the Rebbeinu Shalom created circumstances that prevent me from being happy. The Torah holds us responsible for being besimcha. Although there's no mitzvah that directly addresses it, in the Toichacha it's very clear that if our avodas Hashem is without simcha, then we get terrible onshim. You want to know where the mitzvah of simcha is? I think it's a davar pashit. The mitzvah of avas Hashem. If you love the Rebbeinu Shalom, you got to be happy. If you're not happy, it's because something's bothering you, because something's standing in the way of your avos Hashem. Well, this we'll get back to. They bring down the Svarim, Bikkur the Chassidische Svarim. It's brought b'shem the Talmidei Abesht. They say that the Rambam had a kasha. We find that there's a mitzvah of avos Hashem, there's a mitzvah of yira, there's a mitzvah of simchan yontif. How could the Torah be mechayev emotion? Emotion is something that happens, it's spontaneous. How could the Torah be mechayev emotion? So the answer, if you take a look at the Rambam in the mitzvah of avos Hashem and yiras Hashem, zok the Rambam. How do you get avos Hashem? You're mizboinin in the godless of the Rebbeinu Shalom, in his Torah, in the Bria, till you feel so you're just so overwhelmed. You want to get closer and closer and closer to the makor of all this genius, this perfection. In other words, what the Rambam is saying is, of course you can arrive at emotion with the right attitude. And then he goes weiter. And that should bring you to Yiras Haroimamus. By being Mizboinin, look how great the Rebbeinu Shalom is, how little I am. So Be'etzim, what's the Rambam telling us? All emotion is a choice. All emotion is what we choose. On the basis of the attitudes we formulate, on the basis of how we process situations. And this is key. It's how we process life. And that's up to you. That is up to the individual. This is an ikar in life, not just because we want to be happy. People ask me, what's the first thing you got to be mechanech your kids to? I think it's a davar pashut. The first thing you have an achrayus for a tinik ben yoimoy, is to give over simchas chayim. Someone without simchas chayim doesn't feel like living. You got to give him simchas chayim. How do you give simchas chayim? How do you communicate with a tinik ben yoimoy? It's the atmosphere in the house, it's your facial expressions. And how do you teach Torah mitzvahs? How do you effectively teach Torah mitzvahs to your kids? You're going to force them? You're going to beat them? Chazal say to do that. It wasn't so when I was growing up, it worked. It doesn't anymore. Today, if you hit a kid, you're on lifnei ivr. It's pashit. Chazal say hamaka lifnoi godel is over on lifnei ivr, and you put him in chayrim because you're causing the kid to hit back. Today, I don't know if it's causing him to hit back, but you beat a kid, he's just going to resent it and rebel. You're pushing him away. You're over lifnei ivr. You force a kid to do mitzvahs. You're not doing chinuch, you're over lifnei ivr. How do you teach Torah mitzvahs when your own Torah mitzvahs are done b'simcha? This is for the men. This is for the women. Any woman who expresses, "Oy, Pesach is coming." What is she teaching her kids? Oy, Pesach is coming. What's she teaching her kids? That Pesach is oy. It's so much work. Yeah, it's a lot of work. You got to make sure that she gets help. But never could you communicate that treif expression, shver zu sein a yid. There's nothing more geschmack than to be a yid. We can't imagine what it's like to be a goy. Erev Shabbos. Erev Shabbos. There should be music on in the house. Every Torah, mitzvahs, everything associated with it should be with a geschmack. You have different kids of Gdolei Yisrael, including their daughters, who were made that they got their Avos Torah from listening to the geschmack of their father's learning. Rebbe Kanievsky, Zechroino Levrocha, was totally Meiser Nefesh for Reb Chaim. Where'd she get it from? She said, listening to her father learn through the night, the kids started. Anyone that remembers the apartment, they slept where he learned. Rav Sholem Shvadron's kids. They were made. They used to fall asleep to the sound of Akasha, and on Aterids, and the simcha when he got pshat in the sugya. Everything with simcha, with ava. Every mitzvah. But simcha's chayim. Simcha's chayim, to be happy, to be alive. There's a gedank. I've heard it b'shem the goin. I couldn't find it anywhere in the Kisvei Agor, and I spoke to all the mumchim, and they say it doesn't exist. I don't know who said it, if not the goin. Passed for him, but it's a mafurish diuk. The halachi is the Gemara Pesachim tells us. L'gabi anovi, and then it says v'chein ledvar halacha. But the Shechina is not shora mitoich atzlus, mitoich atzvus, only mitoich simcha shel mitzvah. Yoina Hanovi is having a conversation with the Rebbeinu Shalom. And he says he wants to die. And the Rebbeinu Shalom answers him, which means he's in a matzav of experiencing nevuah. He is talking to the Rebbeinu Shalom, and the Rebbeinu Shalom is answering him. See, he wasn't in a matzav of atzvus. He was in a matzav of simcha. And he's saying that he's better dead than being alive. How's that shaykh? You know, you can only experience pain if you're alive. Even the ability to experience pain. Even that. There's a simchas chayim. I'm sounding a little funny. Tell me. I don't know if you've ever experienced, everybody. You've ever experienced situations either that were very painful or you felt your life was on the line. There's a certain electricity that you feel. There's a certain electricity you feel. First of all of your priorities are straight. All the narishkeit disappears. All the trivial stuff does not anymore make that much of a difference. And you become a bigger person. So that's why it says you could be noida be'ist sora, because then you understand life so much better. But derech klal, to make a neder, we're making a decision today for what I'm going to do tomorrow is usher. Tomorrow you'll be older and wiser. Not be'ist sora. Be'ist sora, you're wiser than you'll ever be. You'll be wiser than you'll ever be. But when you experience that, there's an electricity. You're more alive than ever. Yoina Hanovi is in such pain. But it's not atzvus. He says, I'm better dead. It's so painful. No atzvus. He's alive. He's feeling it. Good. We're not dealing with such pain. We're dealing with things that don't go exactly the way we want them to. Put things in perspective. There is so much in our lives that is so good, that is so beautiful. The Rebbeinu Shalom created a beautiful world for us. You know, Chazal were metaken brachas. First, Birkas HaShachar. Birkas HaShachar, you get up in the morning. So what's pshat in Hanusin Sech Vivino Lavchem Ben Yom Ben Leila? I want to know. A rooster means something to us today. I'll tell you better. The roosters used to know the difference between Yom and Laila. Today, where there's artificial lighting everywhere, they don't know the difference. Because they don't know Yom from Laila. What they know is darkness from light. And today they're all confused and they crow whenever they want. Why are we making this bracha? And it's klor, Chazal learn. This is a bracha on intelligence. This is the bracha where we are thanking the Rabbeinu Shalom, we are acknowledging the fact that we have brains. But intelligence doesn't just mean intelligence, it includes consciousness, that we're aware. Why are we busy with the rooster? You know, whenever we talk about something to be thankful for, people come, but me, my brain. If only I had the brain of, then I would be something thankful for. Chazal say, if you have a bird brain, you got to be thankful. You thank the Rebbeinu Shalom for the intelligence of a rooster. Kolshkin, our awareness. We're able to experience life. Aesthetics. Rebbeinu creates such a beautiful world. Such a beautiful world. Agav, the evolutionists have yet to come up with an explanation for why the world evolved so beautifully. It doesn't make it the fittest. It doesn't work. We know the answer. We make a bracha. Rish Chodesh Nisan. The Rebbeinu Shalom did it for one reason. Lahanas b'nei Adam. He did it so that we should enjoy it. The Rebbeinu Shalom created a beautiful world. Lahanas b'nei Adam. Life is so beautiful. Friends that we can interact with friends. The whole idea of friendship. I don't know, I think the most beautiful bracha there is that they should have included in Birkas HaShachar. We leave it for the last of the Sheva brachas. Yeah, Shabara, Sosen, Simcha. Chosen Kala, of course, because it's Sheva brachas. Gila, Rina, Ditza, Chedva. A bracha on Simcha. And Ava v'Achva v'Sholem v'Reis, a bracha on Ava v'Achva v'Sholem v'Reis. It's a bracha we should make every single day. It should be from the Birkas HaShachar. You know, it's all included in the first bracha. It's part of our consciousness. The fact that we can enjoy relationships, the fact that we can enjoy simcha. Even a good joke. Kolshkin, and maybe lavdil. A deher in ruchnias, a deher in learning, a deher in avodas Hashem. Understanding one another. There's so much to be thankful for. You don't make a bracha on food. You make a bracha on food. No, the Chassidim talk about kavonas achila. Let's talk about it in simple terms. You really want to enjoy food? This is what you got to do. First of all, take some time to eat, and don't eat while you're doing something else. The Rebbeinu Shalom created food for us to enjoy. If all it is to keep us going, He could have created the human being in a way that we'd have to be refueled. Even diesel oil could have done it. Instead, He gives us food that grows beautifully, that tastes great, that can be processed in so many ways. Okay, smell it, taste it, but one thing comes even before that, and it's so much more enjoyable. Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam borei, whatever. Realize, the borei olam created this. It tastes good, it's nutritious, it looks great. And for all of that, the Rebbeinu Shalom also created in every individual his own aesthetic appreciations, the colors he likes, the taste buds, the flavors he appreciates, which means that the Rebbeinu Shalom had you in mind. So when you're about to eat something, remind yourself, this is a personal gift from the Borei Olam. He thought of me. He created it for me and me for it. Creator of heaven and earth. The Rebbeinu Shalom who sustains everything. Whose koiches are beyond anything we can imagine. He had me in mind. You know, I always talk about when a kid gets a gift, what does he do? Tears over the wrapping, tears it open, takes the toy. Oh, this is the toy I wanted. When an adult gets a gift, what? It's something for nothing. A gift, it's an expression of something. Someone's talking to you. Someone cares about you. The more thought out it was, the more they really thought about you. So if we're immature, the food tastes good. If we're mature, Creator of heaven and earth sent me a gift. He even wrapped it with a ribbon on it and a little card. This is for you. Feel that. See how enjoyable your food is going to be. Oh, your life is so beautiful. Yeah, but this didn't work out and that didn't work out and I wish I had this. How does that compare to everything we do have? There's so much to be happy for. We just have to choose it. We have to think. All we think about are our problems. We have to think about everything beautiful in life, and it's endless. It's endless. You can't compare. It's endless. It's his beinunus. It's a matter of his beinunus. Then there's a whole other dimension, which is that people allow themselves to become unhappy because of the way they were treated by somebody else. Which basically means that you are empowering people around you to determine whether or not you're going to be happy. What are you doing that for? Why are you empowering others to ruin your life? Why are you empowering others to make you miserable? You can be happy even if someone calls you a name. You can be happy if they don't respect you. There's nothing to be happy about. Why are we empowering them? Why do we make ourselves needy? Why do we become slaves to others? Enjoy life. Why ruin your simcha? Why ruin your simchas chaim? And ultimately, this is Avas Hashem. Avas Hashem is recognizing how beautiful the world is, and because of that, you want to come closer and closer to Him. If you walk around thinking that life is miserable, how close do you want to get to the source of misery? It's obvious that Avas Hashem is built on Simchas Chaim, knowing that the Rebbeinu Shalom is the source of everything good. Pashib Shan Baruch, the Chinuch and Baruch, the Rebbeinu Shalom is Baruch. He's the Makor HaBracha. Everything that exists is Bracha, and it's all from the Rebbeinu Shalom. It's so good. It's all a choice. This is Bechira. You can choose to be happy. You can choose to be unhappy. It's up to you. When you get up there, you're not going to be able to come to the Rebbeinu Shalom and tell him, Eibishter, why you give me such a miserable life? And he'll look at you and say, why did you make your life so miserable? I gave you everything great and beautiful. Adarabah. We're going to be held responsible for not being happy. And don't we want to be happy anyway? We have to mizbeinin. Psuke de Zimra is made to get us ecstatic. ecstatic about the whole nature that the Rebbeinu Shem created and his hashgacha, and the fact that we're Yidden and he chose us. The whole davening is supposed to give us simcha, beginning with Birkas HaShachar, running into Pesukei de Zimra. We got to be happy for our sake, for the sake of our children. And you know something? It's an obligation too. And that's why the Teichacha can come along and say, yeah, Tachas shel Yavanta shel Lekir b'simcha. So here it is. Everything you want. You want to be happy? No. The Rosh Hashanah wants you to be happy. He loves us. He created this world for us. It was Ritzoyno Yisbarach La'etiv. That's why we're around. It's all Ritzoyno Yisbarach La'etiv. I'll add to this. I keep saying this, and I mean it. It's clear to me that if the Rambam were around today, there would be one more of the Ikrim. There would be a 14th Ikor. And maybe all the way up there at the beginning. You know what that is? That the Rebbeinu Shem loves us. That the Rebbeinu Shem loves us. The last of the Nevi'im, Malachi, Masa, Dvar Hashem biyad Malachi, Oh hafti escha mamar Hashem. The last Navi already had to tell us. He knew there'd be a tkufa where people walk around thinking, oh, Rebbeinu Shem doesn't love me. Cholile. What did they say in the Midbar? Misinas Hashem. He took us out of Mitzrayim. Chas v'sholem. What kind of sin of the Rebbeinu Shem is just Abba, nothing else. Nothing else. Rebbeinu Shem loves us. Everything that exists is only because of Ritzoyno Yisbarach La'etiv. Nothing else. Nothing else. The reason there's din is just that it shouldn't be namadik yisufa. But be'etzem, all the Rebbeinu Shem wants to do is give and give and give and give and give. He loves us. Nothing else. He just loves us. Adrabah, the greatest chesed was because of Ritzoyno Yisbarach La'etiv, that it was all about machshavta to create b'midas adin, so it wouldn't be namadik yisufa, so we would earn it because the best thing is earning it. He made a pshara because he wanted us to be successful. It wasn't so practical, it would be this adin alone. The Rebbeinu Shem just loves everything in life. Oh, there's just so much to be thankful for. I have to end off with the most profound thing I ever heard from my father, Zechrono Livrocha. Maybe a little background. My father was the youngest of 7. It was a beautiful family back in Europe before the Shoah. He was the youngest of 7. 5 of his siblings were married with kids. It was a beautiful family. His Zayda was one of the Gedolei Galicia. His father was the masker of the Kila Charedis in the Shtat. Then came the war. He was the youngest, and he knew how to do things. As they learned of what was going on, they sent him to run. And he ran. And he spent the war running. He starved. He had nothing. He had one set of clothes that he wore the whole time. He starved. I saw his chasna picture. He was a skeleton. He came back after the Muhammad and waited and waited. Nobody returned. Not the Zayda, not his parents, not his siblings, not his nieces and nephews. Nobody came back. He was alone. He was alone in the world. The closest relative he found was his sister's father-in-law. His sister's shver, his parents mechutanim. His sister didn't come back. He went there. My mother was in Auschwitz. She came back from Auschwitz. And she came to the closest relative she could find. And that was her uncle, who happened to be that same person my father went to. These were two Hasidic kids. My father was alone in the world. My mother approached him and said, listen, you have nobody. Let's get married, I'll take care of you. That's the way it worked after the Milchama. Two Hasidic kids. Baruch Hashem, they got married. It was a beautiful marriage. My mother was everything to him. Yeah, his wife, his mother, everything. And he respected her and treated her like a queen. When they were both 90 years old, my mother was nifter, age 90. Father lost everything. At the end of the Shiva, he turns to me and he says, you know, if I really wanted to, I could be miserable. I don't want to. He spent the next 8 years just filled with simchas chayim. People came to him for chizuk. Always people coming. His heart didn't really work much. His kidneys weren't working well. He fell a couple of times till he couldn't walk. His digestive system wasn't really working. I had to wake it up every once in a while. He was the happiest man anybody knew for 8 years. Because he wanted to. Because he wanted to. This is the most profound statement I ever heard from him. Because he wanted to. Don't make your happiness conditional on anything. You're alive. There is so much to be happy about. Don't make it conditional. Unless you enjoy being miserable. You want to choose misery? Fine. The Rebbeinu Shem gave us Bechira. But don't make tnoim that you can only be happy if. Because then you're choosing your own misery. Simchas Chaim. Simchas Chaim is the key. It's the key to Avos Hashem. It's the key to a good life. It's the key to being a good husband and a good father and a good role model. It's everything we want. And it's biyadenu under all circumstances. Choose simcha. Choose simcha. And have a happy life. Have a happy life. The Rebbeinu Shem should give us the seichel to see through all the narishkeit and enjoy this beautiful world he created, the Gashmias and of course the Ruchnias, to enjoy it all, to live b'simcha, and to broadcast that to everyone around us, and especially the younger Doris, so that they should want to live, and they themselves should love the Rebbeinu Shel Olam, who is the Makor HaBracha and the Makor HaSimcha.